Live well now with Dr. Lauren.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is another episode of Live Well Now. My name is Dr. Lauren Powell. I'm a board certified family medicine physician. I'm known as a culinary doctor, and that's because I believe food is one of the most powerful tools that we have. This series, this YouTube channel is really focused on how can we improve our metabolic health? How do we optimize how our body uses the energy that we give it so that we're promoting health and we are reducing our risk of disease and sickness. And so I present to you regularly once a week with some health related content, some tools in an educational format, and then also cooking, because we need to know how do we take the tools that we learn and that I'm teaching you and put them in a recipe. So today, you all, I wanted to share this recipe with you. I made this over the weekend. I'm going to go ahead and go through our ingredients so that you can write them down and have them ready. But I was inspired to make this recipe because my brother was here for the weekend. And my brother, first of all, my child loves my brother. Like, he loves him so much. So it's a joy when he's here because I get so much free time to just get stuff done. And so one of my ways of repaying my brother for being here and helping me, even though he doesn't ask for repayment, is I want to make sure he eats well. It's like the least I can do is like cook for you and make sure you have delicious food. Now, the thing about my brother, he likes good food, but he's very, very strict. He does not consume sugar. Everything is like, needs to have protein. He is just really takes his lifestyle very seriously when it comes to optimizing his metabolic health. So, you know, if someone's like, I don't want to eat sugar and I don't want sugar in my breakfast, like, I want to make sure they still have delicious food to eat. I don't want it to be like, oh, well, then you just have a bowl of fruit. Like, no, that's not fair. Everybody else is eating pancakes and waffles and yummy goodness, and you are, you know, I don't want you to have like leftovers or food that is not yummy and tasty. So I made these high protein, sugar-free pancakes for my brother. I was kind of improvising a bit on the recipe. I knew I had some cottage cheese in my refrigerator, and they came out really, really good, you guys. I was very impressed. So I want to show you how to make them. Again, I think they're really easy to make. You probably have most of these ingredients at home. So let's go through them so you can write these down. So we're gonna need 2 bowls, and we're gonna call one bowl the wet bowl and one bowl the dry bowl. So in our wet bowl, you'll need 2 eggs, 1 cup of whole milk cottage cheese. If you're like, I don't like cottage cheese, just try it, because I bet you won't even taste it. It's really just a texture thing. You're gonna need a teaspoon of vanilla as well. You're gonna need some butter. I melted 2 tablespoons of butter, and then we're gonna need some that we put to kind of flip our pancakes. You're gonna need 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. You're gonna need baking powder, not to be confused with baking soda. You need baking powder. This is what's gonna make your pancakes fluffy. And then we're gonna need cinnamon. Super simple, super easy ingredients. Now, I am gonna top mine with some honey. I don't remember what my brother topped his with, but you could do, you know, fresh fruit, drizzle of honey, maybe some fresh maple syrup. That would be great as well. So let's go ahead and first combine our wet ingredients. So I've got my 2 eggs. 1 egg. Two eggs. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take my cottage cheese, and we're gonna need a full cup. So let me grab a spoon. Full cup of cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is great. This cottage cheese has 13 grams of protein and a half a cup, so that's great. Ingredients are pretty clean. Again, this is just Publix brand of cottage cheese because that's what was on sale. And so when you know, I am not someone who is like, you need to completely eliminate certain food groups except like, you know, processed sugar and things like that. So when you want to have some carbohydrate, because we're still using flour, so this is still, you know, carbs in here, but by us adding a nice source of protein, a nice source of fat, we're helping to kind of blunt or decrease that spike in blood sugar, which is what my brother is trying to avoid. So I've got this. So I've got that in there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add in my 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Oops. All right. Now that we've got all that, let's mix it up. So I'm just trying to kind of mix and get like a uniform consistency. All right. That's perfect. You want to overdo it. So I'm going to move this now out of the way. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in to my dry bowl my flour. That was 3/4 cup all-purpose flour. I'm going to do a teaspoon. Rinse this out because it has our vanilla on it. Do our teaspoon of baking powder. And we'll take our cinnamon. I try to incorporate cinnamon whenever I can because I feel like it's just a really good thing to add flavor. There's no sugar in it. It's good for blood pressure. I'm gonna go ahead and use my fork and mix that really well together. I'm gonna go ahead and start my skillet so that I can start warming up. And I just want like that baking powder and flour kind of really well mixed and the cinnamon well mixed. So this looks like it's not well mixed over here. All right. That's good. Now we're going to go ahead and add our dry to our wet ingredients. I'm going to go ahead and mix this. Now, the thing about this recipe is it's gonna look like it's not gonna work. And you're gonna be making it, you're gonna be looking at this consistency and you're like, I don't think this is gonna do what I need it to do. But you just kind of gotta trust it all the way to the end. Literally until you cook both sides. So we just wanna make sure everything is mixed in really well without like over mixing it. Almost done. I'm just going to add in that butter now. It's 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So it still has that buttery taste like a pancake. All right, that looks pretty darn good. All right, I've got a good consistency here. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the hot plate here. So we've got all our ingredients mixed here well together. We've got our wet and dry ingredients that have been mixed together. Our wet ingredients were 2 eggs, 1 cup of whole fat, whole milk, cottage cheese, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then our dry ingredients was 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, baking powder 1 teaspoon, and some generous cinnamon. We've mixed those together. Then we added 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So next you're just going to use a 1/4 cup measuring, and that's what we're going to put here. I'm going to give this a couple more minutes to warm up. We've got our mixture here. I'm gonna go ahead and get a plate ready for us so we can plate these. Put that to the side here. All right. This is feeling warm. So I'm gonna go ahead and melt some butter here. You wanna make sure that you're using a nice non-stick surface because these guys are really sticky. They're just super sticky. Cup. And I told you, it's gonna look like these are not gonna come together, but I promise you they will. 1 pancake. These are very filling because of the protein. I think my brother ate 3 of these and he was definitely satisfied. I think I ate 2. All right, we're gonna let those cook. We're gonna take a couple of minutes, a couple of minutes on each side to kind of cook through. Because what happens if you do not cook them through, you will taste that like coolness, thickness of that cottage cheese. Starting to look good. We're gonna let those get nice and brown. And you see, I didn't add any sugar. Like we're gonna use some honey as our sweetener after. If I had some berries, I put some berries in there, but you really don't need any sugar in the actual batter. Again, you wanna make sure you have a good non-stick pan. You hear that sizzle? Okay, this guy's almost done. So you just want to make sure that it's cooked well, that it's browned. Again, you don't want any cold, chunky pieces. And if you flip it when it's not done, you guys saw how soft, like they will fall apart. So you definitely want to make sure that they are cooked well before you flip it. My kitchen smells really good, you guys. I'm doing I have a roast going for my husband. It's his birthday tomorrow, and so I'm just like making all of his favorite foods this week. Do you see how fluffy and cute they are? This one needs a couple more minutes. These freeze well, so you could always, whenever I make pancakes, I make more than what I need because pancakes are a great thing to freeze and then take out. I usually heat these up in the air fryer, but they're a great thing to take out and eat, to have prepped ahead of time. I know my kid, I always appreciate having pancakes in the freezer on those random Tuesdays where my toddler is begging for pancakes. That one still needs a couple of minutes. Let's make sure it's evenly on here. So you just want to make sure they're cooked all the way through. You see we have still just not done all the way here. So we're going to let those cook through. You see how nice and fluffy they are? I'm actually going to let this one cook a little more on the other side. These are looking good. Sometimes I'll kind of roll them on their sides just to make sure I've got all that cottage cheese warmed through. Those two are almost done. This guy's still working. I think this side of the pan is not cooking as fast, so it's all right. We'll get our other two that are ready. Look great. I'm gonna go ahead and move this out of the way. Just gonna do some local Georgia honey on top. And here we have our high protein, no added sugar pancakes. All right, let's give them a taste. Oh. Definitely satisfy that pancake craving, that pancake itch. They're so fluffy on the inside, you guys. These are really, really good. The only thing I wish I had was some blueberries. I put those on top. But I hope this is helpful for you. If you're someone that's trying to be, cognizant of your metabolic health, which we all should be. If you're someone that's mindful of your sugar intake, which we all should be, I want you to consider trying these. I want you to consider making them for your kid, swapping them out instead of regular pancakes, and see how your family enjoys them. Last bite, okay? They really are good. My name is Dr. Lauren Powell. I hope this was helpful. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the episode. Live well now. Cheers.